Can't wait to finally be able to remove Fizzwoods from my Twitch follow channels. Won't be needing that anymore.
What was that, Emmanuel?
Anyway, I can't wait to remove Fizzwood.
Josh the Kid redeems stretch. We usually don't do redeems during the I was about to say the Velocity Plus streams.
Nah.
How's it going, Luna? How you doing today? I can refund you the points, don't worry.
Nice.
Blue
Doing
Bread
better
Bun,
than-
thank you for the follow. Also, Joshy the Kid, thank you for the follow. Chili dogs. Let's wait a few moments for everyone to get here.
Oh, dear me. You started this at pretty much midnight for me.
No, sorry. I wanted to do this like an hour ago, but I didn't wake up until like 2 hours ago.
That explains it.
My alarm clock went off at like
late.
12 my time, like noon, but then I slept like 2 extra hours.
That's why you snooze your alarms.
You snooze, you lose,
You
Eggman.
snooze, you lose.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Moo.
Thank you for the baritone, Reese.
Yep.
Thank you for the what?
Because you were going, ooh.
Ooh.
Baritone.
All right, well. Who's ready to release the project files?
No.
No.
No one's ready? Oh, okay.
Wait.
I'm so enthusiastic about it.
No.
I was
No,
planning to make
that's all.
profit from it. I mean,
Like, I just don't feel like it right now. Maybe come back to me in a week or so.
I don't really feel like that.
yeah, let me do some. Let me figure out how C++ works. Then I'll tell you.
No.
No.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
Screw it, we're doing it live.
Well said, Reese.
Indeed. Why is it whenever I always mash the keyboard, I always seem to start off with FD?
It is literally in the middle, so
Those are the like index and middle finger keys. So
guess you really like
Nah.
Frederick Douglass.
you like Freddy Fazbear.
No. It's actually Fred Dinner
Frederick Fazbearington.
Just keep bringing it back.
Yes, Fast Barrington, sir.
Yes.
Your wine,
Fazbear. Your wine, Fazerton Bear. Well, guys, it's been 4 years. We've been working on this for 4 years.
No, you're lying to me.
Oh,
No,
I keep doing a hand map, and I keep getting 4.
It's an easy 12.
It feels like 12 years. Jesus Christ. It's been forever.
It feels like less. It feels like 2 years.
Eh.
I've had the opposite time scaling going on.
I think the first 2 years were a blur because of lockdown.
Yeah, well, I don't remember a whole lot about the first year. I know I had just started my job at the theater, and like less than 3 months into my job, the project files released, and I'm like, ooh, what's this? And I like jumped in on it. But I don't remember a whole lot about the first year, and then the second year, because it released in 2019, didn't it?
What, Infinity
Yeah.
Plus?
No, Infinity Engine.
Okay.
That was in 2019.
It was
Like
20.
Yeah.
the summer of 2019, essentially.
No, it was February 2019. It was the end of February.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was near the beginning of the year because I remember I was away when it got released.
Yeah, I started recruiting summer of 2019, but the project files, the original project files for Vanilla Infinity Engine released in February of 2019. I remember because it was after my birthday.
Damn. February.
Yep,
Which, I'm in right now. I'm in the future.
it is February for you. It's still January for us, though.
Let me tell you, it just seems exactly the same. Oh, speaking of which, I need to swap my calendar.
Also, if you are part of the Infinity or the Velocity, goddamn, I keep calling it Infinity.
to
If
start an
you're-
Infinity Jar.
Yeah, the Infinity Jar. If you guys are part of the Velocity Plus Discord, check the Velocity Links channel. The link is now up. You now have access to the Velocity Plus framework files.
You know what? I have any reason to be here. You can leave now. Bye.
Also, at 4 o'clock, whenever we went live, the Game Jolt also updated. There is an updated demo on the Game Jolt.
Yeah.
So if you wish to play the Game Jolt or just the demo, you can do that on the Game Jolt.
We warned you.
I shortly play tested the project files, or not the project files, the demo. I didn't get like super into it, but like
Hey, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
waiting 30 minutes now for the project files to download. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit for the project files to download.
At least it won't take an infinite. Velocity amount of. It's not the same.
It's not the same, Emmanuel. Not the same.
Why couldn't people realize we put a plus there? Come on, how hard can it be?
I can't make the same jokes anymore now, guys. Go. We've got to come up with new jokes for the stream.
I guess we could say Vect. No, we didn't name it Vector. And we didn't name it Vector.
I'm gonna velocity. Ha, there we go.
I'm gonna veto that joke.
You're a VTuber. There it is. There it is. There's the connection. I guess we should probably actually explain what we've done. The horrors we brought onto this world.
I can ban you right now, Emmanuel.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm kidding.
So that's the first horror, me being banned.
No, you'll need 4.26. You can try 4.27, but there's a good chance things will break, and if things break, it's on you to fix them.
Sorry.
You can try 4.27, but I cannot guarantee it'll work.
The first action of Velocity Plus ban Emmanuel.
How's it going,
Bam.
Onyx? It is
I'll just make.
good.
Hey, Onyx. Long time no see.
Long time no see.
I guess let's make velocity. I'll just make velocity minus be ban me.
You need 4.26 for dash. Nice. Isn't someone working on a 5.0 dash build? I don't know if Nova is. I thought I heard someone was working on a 5.0 dash, but
I don't know.
like a UE5 version.
How's it? Actually, before we dive into,
Galaxy is okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's okay. So that's what he's just working on.
Dash Engine 2 is on UE5. All right, good for him.
He's just dashing ahead. Okay. But I didn't even mean to do that. So how actually, just in general, how have you found Unreal Engine 5 is? You've had a bit of experience with it.
I've not had too much problem with UE5. In terms of the blueprinting system, there's a couple of things that have changed that I got to get used to, but for the most part, it's not really that big of a difference from UE4. I've not really messed around with any of the the modeling or the animation stuff or the material work or anything like that. I've not messed around with that a whole lot. The big thing I've messed with is the lighting. I want to learn how to work with lighting, which is the main reason I actually wanted to go with the horror game for my first original indie title, is because I wanted to challenge myself with lighting. Because I want to teach myself lighting. And UE5 has the most up-to-date, robust lighting system, and I wanted to teach myself it because it will be used a lot in the future of gaming.
Yeah, and apparently, like, they have the Lumen system. There's also Nanite, which is going to be interesting, the LOD system.
Yeah. So, before anyone asks, no, there are no official plans to update Velocity Plus to UE5. That is not changed. Also, as for the repo, how's it going, Shiranui? We don't have any plans for opening the repo to the public. It's not that we are against doing so, but we just simply have no plans to do so.
We have not talked about it yet, so
I don't necessarily see much of a reason to open the repo, mostly because the repo is kind of the what's repo? Repository. Repo is just short for repository. The repo is pretty full, is the thing. Because we're using a free private one, the space is limited on it. The C++ build files getting released. Yes, the C++ files that were given to us. I don't remember who it was that gave it to us. Someone gave it to us.
I haven't pulled up his. He goes by Unfair Bracket and on GitHub, and apparently he studies nuclear physics.
Okay, yeah. So we've installed a nuclear bomb into your computer. No, I'm kidding. Don't take this.
Now we're on a watch list.
Well, that's why my computer's sounding different.
That's one of the big changes. We'll go into quite a few of the changes here in a bit. Nuclear hedgehog. How's it going, Nini? The Velocity Plus project files have been updated to be a Blueprint and C++ hybrid project file. Unreal Engine project. So you can use C++ files in it. There is one file that we are using that was gifted to us that fixes the frame rate issue with movement. So now at lower frame rates, the characters will be moving at the speed that they are supposed to, even at lower frame rates. That was one of the big major fixes.
Yeah, it does have some caveats, but that's the major change.
Yeah. Chillin'. Pot roast turned out really good. That's good. You were talking about pot roast yesterday, and now I want a pot roast, but we don't have a slow cooker. What was I saying?
The plus.
Will it run on the Windows XP computer? Sure, you go ahead and try that. If you want to upload it onto your refrigerator, let me know. And just let me know how that goes.
So there's really no point. Just with my experience with GitHub, like all GitHub is just a way of keeping track of changes made throughout time and allowing other people to make changes if they're a part of the repository. Mm-hmm. So technically, what someone can do, they want to make another repository, and we can't stop them, is to just make their own GitHub with our files and just give people links. And there you go. You have a GitHub. The only difference is that you won't have a list. You won't have access to all the changes we've made in the past, which we think you don't really need. To be honest,
so like here's the thing. Our repo is already kind of full. And if you wanted access to our repo for the sake of pushing changes, you're not going to get very far because it's already got like a bunch of historical data in it. So you're not going to opening up to the public wouldn't make a lot of sense for like pushing changes and stuff like that because it's already kind of full with it being like a private repo. Opening up to being public, I think, would expand the storage, but there's not really much of a reason to do that other than for the sake of having access to previous builds. So if the community wanted to have a repo for the sake of working together and building on the project over time publicly. It would honestly just be best to open a new repo.
Yeah, anyone could do that for free.
Yeah. Is there a video or a trailer for V Plus yet? No. Nobody that we talked about making a trailer for got back to us, so there is no trailer. That's why we're doing the stream. If there was a trailer, we would be doing that instead of the stream.
But we're streaming it.
Shit. You might have it running on your systems, but can my fridge run Velocity Plus? I don't know. You'll have to test that yourself.
I mean, I've seen fridges run Skyrim.
True.
Yeah, and we are definitely more optimized than Skyrim.
You can slow roast it and
Manual.
even similar effect. Be careful with that. Yeah. We can talk about roasts later.
My so big is 16.
So we've done quite a bit, I guess. Just in general. Okay, good. The springs will work.
Yeah, the springs still work. One caveat that's going on with the project files that you will probably figure out pretty quickly. Speed characters, some of the speed characters may not be completely finished. Ever since we gave Sonic a new model, not all the animations had been properly recreated for the other Sonic characters. All the other speed characters should be functional. You should be able to play as them, but there may be like a few caveats in the animation department for them. Blaze, I think is missing a few animations. Did we get some of those animations fixed for Shadow and Metal? Do you know? Like the hanging animations, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, one main thing, combat animations are not going to be functioning for anybody who's not Sonic. That is one thing I didn't get around to being able to patch last night.
Which was?
That I just said all the combat animations for everybody who is not
Okay.
Sonic.
Yeah, so
okay.
The only speed character that has any combat animations is Sonic. None of the other speed characters are capable of performing combat, unfortunately. It shouldn't be too much of an ordeal to retarget them yourself, hopefully. But if there are issues, there's not going to be much we can do to help fix it. Just because Sonic is just using a new type of mesh in general.
Yeah, we don't have a pipeline set up for retargeting the other characters as quickly, it seems.
Just had a Papa John's ad. What is it with Twitch and doing Papa John's ads? It's always Papa John's. Anytime they do pizza, it's fucking Papa John's.
I'm getting ads like every 2 minutes, it almost feels like.
I've got none.
Well, look, that's because you're...
No, I get ads.
No, you get ads. It's supposed to be every 10 minutes. Is like every 10 to 15 minutes is what it's supposed to be. If Twitch is giving you more than that, then it's a problem with Twitch, not me. Because I set it up to be like every... I think 10 to 15 minutes.
It's a problem with you, my dude. It's a problem.
Don't worry, I'm not blaming you. Don't worry.
Sounds like an issue and not an issue me.
You have Amazon Prime, you just don't get ads, I guess, because I never had them. So, yeah, I think that's another thing is if you have Amazon Prime, you don't get ads.
Oh, wait, I do have Amazon Prime. What the?
I don't have Amazon Prime.
Probably not. Let me do that actually.
Yeah, I don't have Amazon Prime. I just guess I'm lucky.
All right, I do know that one thing that we did as a change, Switches now can have a items that require switches can now require multiple switches to be connected to them. So you can require more than one switch in order to activate like a barrier, what is it? Like a trigger event or enemies or the ring to spawn in or something like that. If you want, you can have multiple switches connected to it. I know switches can also activate multiple actors. rather than just one. I think this is this the first official release with the warp rings?
The what, sorry?
Yes, I believe so. Cause we haven't added them in before, I think.
We didn't add them for the Colorful Combat update, did we?
No.
All right, so warp rings is a big thing.
The fans. The
Yep.
cannons, the pulleys.
Yep, there's the fans. Fans are a thing now. Some of the animation work with the fans may not be ideal. Swing poles. We never got the UI set up for them, but they do function. We've fixed issues with Sonic attaching to objects that are moving. That same issue also caused a resizing bug that often happened whenever you would stand on certain objects. Did we finish the QTE stuff?
Essentially, the functionality's done. Besides one button not wanting to function.
No, I got that fixed.
Oh, you got it fixed. Okay.
Well, they're done, I guess.
QTEs do work.
Oh, I like the little. I actually didn't know you changed it to the V++ icons. It's cute.
Yes. I spent several hours last night going through a lot of the UI, updating common elements.
Yep.
The HUD is not finished, which I am sad.
No.
Because it's still like a mishmash of stuff.
I'm seeing a bit of 06 and a bit of Heroes.
And we never got assets for like Velocity HUD.
No, we never did
So-
end up getting that.
Well, someone did reach out to us about stuff, so you know.
Does the camera not adapt to slopes? It does. You have to
If it's a short slope,
Yeah, if it's a short slope, it won't. But if it's like if you're while running for an extended period of time, the camera will adjust.
yeah, it takes time to for the camera to like recognize you're on it. That way, it just doesn't instantly like change.
Yeah.
While you're going up one. In the future, one thing I would want to add in is like the controls don't automatically update quickly. So sometimes you start going while you lose some speed because the controls are still trying to push you forward.
Mhm.
So it's not the biggest deal in the world.
You know, I
You
want
can
to
shut
say
off the water runner.
I want to say we added cannons.
We did.
See, like to the Colorful Combat. I want to say they were released for the Colorful Combat update. I don't remember specifically.
No, they didn't. They're brand new.
Oh. Well, we have cannons. This was a thing that we added a long time ago. Water running has been altered. Now, if you're not boosting, you can tell water volumes to slow the character down over time gradually until they fall. There are exceptions put in place inside of water volumes for things like super forms, or if you want a character to be naturally immune to water running. But if you're boosting, you can just infinitely run on water if you so desire.
Yeah, this only applies to like water that has actual depth. Shallow pools of water don't slow you down because that would get annoying.
Yeah. So like this water here is like very shallow, so there's no reason to like slow you down on top of it.
Yeah, and another feature is that if you're just below the water and you exceed the speed you need to be going at, you will actually like rise up above the water over a period of time.
Like generation style.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. So I'm technically under the water, but then as I exceed the speed, I'll get pushed up. It does work with rolling too, to my knowledge.
Yeah, the hydroplaning does work with the rolling too. One quirk. No, this was a bug, but I left it in. Is that if you start rolling while you're already running on water, it actually slows you down a lot, and you almost like immediately lose speed.
And this is where we never hear from Luna again. And
There is also magma floor now, like magma flooring. It can hurt you if you stand on it for too long, but I've added a system in that allows you to run on magma if you are moving above a certain speed. If you move below that certain speed for too long, it's supposed to damage you. Why isn't it damaging you, Emmanuel? What'd you do?
Do you think I touched the lava?
You touched the code, didn't you? That, like... I thought you touched the code that alters... Oh, it might have been something related to... that I put in place for the flight characters that I didn't change for the speed characters.
Well...
Fizz.
Don't worry about the lava.
I'll look into it later, and if I can find a fix for it quickly, I'll post about it.
Speaking of fixing stuff, maybe there might be a patch we could do in the future if there's many problems. Because Emmanuel and I will be hanging around for patch-related stuff still, I'd imagine, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to do the minutia of like packaging builds and stuff, but I could definitely at least do the... We'll be willing to do work in terms of fixing things.
Yeah.
That's something like Fizz will have to show us, like how he goes about patching things.
The light version is going to happen. If the light version does happen, we'll do it later.
Yeah.
We'll probably make the light version in our spare time or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So who wants to see the very last thing that I added to the project?
The best thing, the swan song of Fizz's.
This is my swan song object, the very last thing I've worked on.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I don't remember who it was. Someone was working on something in the Velocity Plus server, and they wanted to implement like a trip actor. Bonk, like that.
That ad popped up.
Damn.
I can't see this an ad. Canon, stop.
I hate having to run ads on my channel. I don't want to have to run ads, but I do need the spare money. Bonk. It was Maiko, wasn't it? I think it was Maiko. They wanted to include like a trip actor. Bonk. And I'm like, after I went through it with Maiko on how to implement a trip actor, I'm like, wait, this is like super simple. Why haven't I done it for Infinity Plus yet? So I added it.
And there goes Maiko.
We don't have an animation set up for it. Reese might set up an animation later.
Doing the animation stuff was simple. You just do an animation montage. You have to make the animation yourself, but there's probably already an animation for it, actually.
An animation.
Yeah, just tell
got the animations.
Tell the actor to be like, oh, play a trip montage.
Oh, good heavens. I've seen that trip.
It does work while spinning as well. If you're in a rolling state, it'll kick you out of your rolling state. And if you're boosting, it'll disable your boost.
Fine, the one thing stronger than the boost, a little curve.
If you're not moving above a certain speed, though, it won't do anything. It's not going to trip you up. So. Whee. I know one other thing we added. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, finally an obstacle that doesn't just hurt and kill Sonic.
Oh, come on. I keep hitting the wall, which...
What are you doing?
We've added multiple exits. This actor still doesn't work. But we have added the ability to implement multiple exits to a level, and those multiple exits can also lead to different levels if you so desire. So that capsule can end the level. I'm not going to jump on it though, because I don't want to end the level. But you can now set up what the exiting level is through the goal actor. So whether it be through that capsule or this goal ring over here, you can now set up multiple exits. And I do believe that also includes with emerald shards. You can now set up a level end scenario rather than a level end actor. So if you want like a certain scenario to occur to force the level to end, you can do that rather than using a level end actor.
So
So
you did add the Master Emeralds.
Yeah. So, for example, if you wanted to create an emerald hunting stage, you can do that, or maybe a chow collection stage where you collect a set amount of chow, or a mission where you collect a set amount of rings or something like that. There are systems in place to do that. Right. This helped me because for my, at least this just launches you up in the air but removes all type of speed. You gotta just stop you from moving. I see. So yeah, we got the QTEs, there's the water running has been altered, we got multiple exits now. As for objects, we have the swing pole, we've got a trip actor, there's the zip line as well as the upper reel, and the cannons.
Oh yeah, the zipline was that was interesting to get working, and not look janky.
Yeah, that was fun. Also got the warp rings. Launch actors can now be rotated however you want them to, and they will actually properly launch you. So if you wanted to, like the launch vector is now independent from the rotation of the actor. So for example, we got that dash panel up there that's rotated 90 degrees. If we just walk right into it, it'll launch us straight up, like so. Meaning that the you can now like have differently rotated actors that launch you at like different vectors and stuff like that. The blueprinting, a vast majority of the work that went into this update was cleaning up the blueprints. So if we open up the master character,
a lot of the major blueprints at least.
Yeah, most of the major blueprints. There are some smaller blueprints here and there that haven't been cleaned up.
Yeah,
The damage and manual to-do list. Look at that. All of this damage code was meant to be moved to its own graph.
yeah, it's funny.
Blueprints have been, for the most part, cleaned up and segmented with comments, so you understand what things do. Face button left, face button right, face button top, face button bottom, D-pad inputs, left trigger, right trigger. The shoulder buttons have their own graph for like rail switching and midair dodging.
And
Shoulder
movement already has their
inputs.
graph.
Yeah, rolling has its own graph. The camera has its own graph. There's an entire object graph for like interacting with objects such as items or springs, cannons, or there's also a general object interaction. Let's see here. The individual parents also have things.
I think we also made more of an effort of like consolidating the blueprints to their appropriate parents. For instance, I'm not sure if there was this update or last update where we made a giant push to make sure, like for instance, the speed parent, like actually had less stuff in it compared to the master parent in terms of what's needed and make sure everything has proper pass-throughs. I think that was this update where we made sure that was properly done.
So a big thing that we've done with the Velocity Plus is we have a pass-through system for parents and children now. So whenever, say for example, you want to press the right button, like the stomp button, the master will go through an initial set amount of checks that it needs to do that applies to every single character, and then it will do what is called a child crouch pass-through, in which case it calls this function, and this function is then overridden. Let me close all these tabs to the right. That function is then overridden in each of the children. So let's see here. or crouch. Then the children will check things, and if the check passes, and let's do the left button instead. Action call. Let's do the action call instead of the crouch. The children will now do a system where they check their own stuff, and depending on how things go through, they will pass back through into the parent. So the children, so for example, with speed parent, the action call, what it does is it activates the boost. But if we go to the flight parent, we'll see that the action call, close tab to the right. The action call, flight parent has its own checks that it then does a melee attack, in which case it does like a tail swipe or something like that. And the power parent also has its own checks. So if we do the jump check, which is, that's the special call. What's it called? Child jump. Child underscore jump. You'll do a speed jump, and then anytime you press the jump button, the child of the parent that you are playing as will check all this information. So if you're in midair, it will check if you need to do a homing attack. If you're not in midair, it will be like, oh, I need to check to make sure like I'm not doing anything else that is required of this parent or this child. If not, it will simply go back to the master character in this master ground jump call, and the master character will do a ground jump. If you're already in midair, then the character, for example, the speed parent, what it will do is it will check for homing attack actors. The flight parent will check to see if it needs to fly. The power character will check to see if it needs to glide or something like that.
Yeah, it's just essentially like it's much easier now to like layer abilities on the same button, so that the master character, for instance, you can jump with the master character, and the speed character can add on top of that. So then in certain conditions, you can homing attack or do an air dash, and it can apply to different parents. And then subsequently, the individual characters like Knuckles, Sonic, Tails, they can have their own individual abilities.
Opening up Velocity Plus is like a flashbang. Yep. Yep.
My God. Was it really that hard to change the resolution? Nope, too hard. Ding.
Was it too hard?
Yeah.
No. Did I want to do it?
No.
Also, no. Fuck you.
No, that's what I was saying to them the other day. It's like, yeah, every time people are going to be opening up this project now, especially when it's like nighttime or something,
You're gonna get
I think it'll be
flashbanged.
fun.
This is our revenge for everyone just saying it was Vanilla Infinity. Just to make sure you know.
Dark room when opening it. It's very light. It's very great.
How did you detach the camera when homing attacking? The camera's not actually detached. It's just the camera has a lag function. Essentially, it allows the camera to artificially lag behind where it should be. And I just artificially change those numbers while homing attacking to get the illusion of it falling behind.
Yeah.
That
The
was in a
camera.
dark room, right? Sorry, Luna.
So essentially, if you look at the master character, you can see there's this camera actor right here, or this camera component. We don't actually use that camera. We use a different camera. Yeah, we don't use this camera anymore.
It's vestigial.
Yeah. Whenever you move your mouse or the analog stick or whatever, this camera does move, but that's not the camera you're looking out of. You're looking out of a different camera. Essentially, what happens is we use that other camera to interp and follow this camera around, and because we use that interp type of system, we are able to introduce a lag system, meaning essentially whenever I move the camera around in game, it has like a bit of a startup and a slowdown effect. That's because it's slightly lagging behind and catching up to the camera that I'm actually moving. This gives the camera a sense of weight. So essentially, we can essentially control how accurately the camera you're looking through follows the camera that you're controlling. But because we can control that, we can now also introduce a lag system such as a homing attack, so the camera kind of stops and follows in.
Yeah, and you can just change how quickly the camera falls behind. Like first, when you initially boost, I heavily decrease the speed of the camera so it falls behind a lot, and then quickly tries to catch up.
Mm-hmm. So you can see like Sonic pulls ahead of the camera, and the camera like falls behind. Chili dogs.
Yeah.
Andy Mira, thank you for the follow. How you doing today?
Chili dogs.
Chili dogs.
Speaking of camera, do you want to talk about those new camera updates and actors?
No.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this is something we've had in the project for a long time, but we have recently updated them to improve them. Hopping our cannon up here. Whee! I love these cannons.
I can tell.
He's having fun with them.
The camera actors, like the dynamic camera actors, now have a lot more settings in them. You can change it so that you can allow the player to control the camera in some instances, like minimally. You can control how much control the person has over the camera, as well as what type of control. Like currently I am looking like left, right, up, and down, but instead you can change it to be shifting. So rather than the camera pitching up, left, down, or right, it will simply shift up, down, left, or right. You can control that. The character's control also updates, so that way whichever direction the camera is looking, the character will properly control. Like this is up, down, right, left, even though last time I entered the volume, I entered it from this angle. The homing attack also properly tracks. Generally, whenever you homing attack things, the homing attack tracks from the camera. So if the camera is not looking at an object properly, it's not going to track that target. But whenever you enter a camera volume, now the homing attack follows the character rather than the camera, meaning if I'm not looking at the object, I'm not going to be able to homing attack it. Whee!
Yeah,
On top of that, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, under the hood, that camera actor we created that's now attached to the character, that's still the same camera actor we're using that's looking at Sonic right now. We're using actors to tell it to move to a different location, so that a lot of the code is just now consolidated in one actor instead of being spread out a bunch,
Yeah.
including for the various splines and stuff too, as we'll show later.
So you can't see it in game. If I were to pop out an editor, you'd be able to see it. But this volume has a camera component in it. And what we used to do is we used to say, hey, use this camera component instead. We no longer do that. Instead, what we do is we say, hey, the camera that you're using right now, instead of following the player camera, follow this actor's camera. And then we just swap back. So that way all the controls and stuff are consolidated inside of one actor rather than spread across multiple actors.
Yeah. And you can still have, for instance, the lag code and stuff if you want, because the lag code is inside the camera, not inside the character.
Yeah.
Oh, something else I just remembered that's in the project. Weather.
What is?
Weather.
Weather. Okay, yeah. We'll get to that one next. We also have camera splines. So the camera can now be set to follow a spline whenever inside of a volume.
And the spline has also been changed a lot.
The first time you open up the project files, it's going to do that. Anytime that you like open up an Unreal Engine project for the first time, it's going to like get loud.
It took me a while to load in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that camera volume that's like out in the open, it just tracks Sonic's movement, tries to get the camera as close to Sonic as it can, while also following its own track. So it's kind of like the camera's on a dolly and it's just trying to track Sonic, which, he's kind of fast, so it can be a bit difficult at times.
Wow, he's really fast.
So you can set these camera volumes to do one of two things, especially with the spline. You can either tell it to track the character and it will follow the character, or you can tell it to track a point and it will follow the point. So if I wanted to, instead of the camera like moving back and forth because it's following Sonic, it could be looking at a point instead. And did we set that point to be an actor? Or
I think it's just a vector point. I don't remember.
Okay. I think one update we could have done that would have made it like even more dynamic is we could tell it to be like, oh, follow an actor if you want.
That'll be interesting.
That'd be like an interesting change. But yeah. Also, all of this stuff has been added to the rails. So the rails now use the exact same type of camera code that the dynamic camera uses. It's all the exact same thing. It's just instead of it being inside of a volume, it's now attached to the rail. So whenever you go into a rail, you can give the rails their own dynamic camera volume, essentially. But like Reese was saying a minute ago, we also have added weather.
Very basic weather.
It's very basic weather. We wanted to upgrade it later on, but we never did.
Yeah, because if you run fast enough, you will outrun the weather, which is funny.
You can still see the weather, like, up above, but it won't, like, be spawning around you.
I think I saw something on Twitter that explained how, like, that person did it so it's always in front of the camera, but forgot to share that link, and I need to find it again.
Yeah, it also includes snow.
Wow.
Cool weather. Yeah, cool weather.
Actually are living in a city now.
Yeah. It's not ideal, but well, I'm not going to be working on it anymore, but Reese might update it.
Yeah. There might be some patches to it later, but it's not a very high priority thing. It was just a cool idea I thought to add in for people.
Also, there's been some updates to the other splines, too.
Oh, the movement splines?
Yeah. You can kind of 06 the levels now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Which one is it? This one? Yep. Did anyone order Sonic 4? So these splines now properly kind of like track up along walls and ceilings and stuff like that. They'll try to properly orientate the character. It is a little bit of a bitch to set up, but it can be done.
And you can jump on them. It is, and also this is not what it automatically does. You can just tell it to do this. If you don't want these specific flyings that have you follow the path strictly, not attach you to stuff, they don't have to. There's just some functionality I added.
Yeah. There's still some issues with it, like allowing the character to leave on occasion, but I think we've like tried to fix it up as best we can. It's better than it was.
It wasn't even able to do this before. Also, I massively fixed up the green spline, the card spline, so that they're way less twitchy and glitchy.
Oh, the game jolt's still on the Discord. You just gotta scroll up in the infinity links.
You expect people to scroll up?
No.
Oh, you can also show us that one path, secret path you can get on the back. That's that camera angle.
What? What are you talking about?
The one that, like, the egg flying ponds lead to.
Oh, right. You expect Sonic fans to look before clicking? I know. How dare I?
Your faith is misplaced.
You fool!
I say one lost roll wall stick tiles with those splines. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. We're not saying you have to. There's just a possibility that we want to keep in mind.
Yep.
I think I'll see that in about 10 seconds. Hold on.
Frontier's wall sticking. Yeah.
I'm here.
God damn it. So yeah, what you can do is you can actually fall into these splines as long as Sonic overlaps with the proper spline entrance. He can be attached to a wall. So if I were to fall into this spline here, it's going to attach me to the wall. So
yeah, that was configured to do so. Yeah.
You can tell it to like stick a character to the ground if you want, and if you attach if you align the spline to a wall and say, hey, attach to the floor, the spline is going to treat the wall as a floor, and whenever the character overlaps with it, the character will be attached to the wall, essentially. Whoop.
Yeah.
Like so.
You can even make so that instead of character having free movement, you just push them along the wall at a certain speed.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things you can do for automation's sake.
You can even have, if you go all the way to that 2D section in the back of the stage, there's also a new kind of mixture of splines. It's like a 2D spline that also forces you to keep going. So it's kind of like a cart and a 2D at the same time. It's purple.
Oh, the purple one?
Yeah.
It's purple.
It's stuff.
Like, just like a certain character that we know of. Blaze the cat.
Like Barney.
So yeah, this is kind of a pull spline. It's kind of pulling me in a direction. And it's
I can make my forces
sort
really
of
big now.
treating it like it's a 2D spline. It's technically not 2D. I can like walk in any direction I want if I like override it. Or if I...
Yeah, that's just the camera.
Yeah. But it could treat it like it's like a dynamic area if I want. You could make your forces remake now. Yep. There's also splines that obviously pull you in a direction. Like, I can break out of that if I wanted to. If I just held in a direction, I would break out of the spline. Like so. But if I, like, let the spline pull me along, it kind of guides me along an area. Oh, went a little too fast on it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like a soft hand saying, hey, try to turn in that direction, please.
Yeah, it's meant to, like, nudge you in a direction is what it's meant to do. But
yeah,
depending on the strength that you set it, it can easily be broken out of if you want it to be, like, an optional thing. Unlike this one, which will lock me into a direction that I cannot get out of. So this is kind of like a 2D section in a way, but I'm holding forward and backwards instead of left and right. Yum.
Yeah, you can even move the camera.
Yep, I can move the camera during it. So these splines also have like dynamic cameras attached to them as well.
Yeah, the cameras are optional. You don't have to use them. They're just an optional feature.
Oh, good lord. Yum. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Transitioning from like one wall, like from the floor to a wall, if you do it in a short enough angle or like at a short enough ramp, sometimes you'll have issues. This is a very, very steep ramp. Like very steep ramp. I would not suggest using this normally in your stages. It's a little too steep. This is like the minimum you can do to like get it consistently, but you can also like have issues occur if you do it this way.
Yeah, I've actually, like, when you first put those in Fizz, I actually had to link in them, like, in my spare time to make it more consistent.
Yeah.
I put them there, I thought.
Oh, Reese, I had to link in them.
Yeah.
I can't even remember if it was me who put them there. That was so long ago.
So yeah, I think there are probably some issues with the actual character physics and character controls and stuff like that. Some ability stuff. But in terms of stability, I do think this is probably the most stable update we have ever released. Probably.
Yeah, in terms of the most, like...
Go ahead.
In terms of, like, just pure optimization. Oh, you go ahead, Reese.
I was making a joke, it's fine. Ignore me.
Ah.
Fly on the wall.
Bonk. Whee. So yeah, this is also the most feature complete update. Like, if I were to continue working on it, if we were to continue working on it in any official capacity, in terms of like actors and objects and stuff like that, we wouldn't really be including anything new. Most of everything else that we would have been including is mostly like kind of soft features. Probably most of it would have included enemies. I think the most unfinished component of the framework will be enemies. They should work enough to like function for you, and they should have enough features in them for you to like customize yourself. But we had plans for other things that they were going to do that will just never get done, unfortunately.
Lost to the ether.
Oh, that was a
It's okay. I'll make velocity minus. Don't worry. I got you guys.
Ah, that joke will never die, eh?
It's like vaporware. Oh, also, the boxes have things going on now.
crates.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that they have health.
Nope, that's the main thing, yeah.
Yeah, crates have health.
There's a certain hedgehog that can have more fun with them also.
Yeah.
But who knows anything about that?
Just absolutely demolish that crate.
Is it possible to give Sonic Whisper's red swing object to actually use? Yeah, if you wanted to, like, give it specifically to Sonic, you can technically just copy and paste all the code from Whisper directly into Sonic. I can't guarantee it will work perfectly. But
You'll probably have to use your brain on it.
yeah. So let's see here. Let's pull up our instance. If you want to swap characters that you like spawn in as by default, you'll go to your instance, go to game info, and select selected in characters. And then you will just either select them from this drop down menu, or if they're already on here, you can just grab them and reposition them. Position 0 is the one that's going to be spawned in. Although let's change this to
Another
server.
thing as well for people, because it was always a thing people were talking about, you don't have to type in start1 anymore for spawning in the characters.
Oh yes, that's a thing we fixed. If you want to spawn in characters, you don't have to like type in start1. You probably should still, but you don't have to. If the engine does not find any start tags, it will simply just select the first one that was placed in the world.
Yep. So that is finally resolved. It was resolved ages ago, but we never put it as a patch.
Yeah, we never ended up patching it, but that's a thing now. So we got Silver. We got the good old Silver boy. Silver, even though Silver was included in the Colorful Combat update, he was kind of unfinished. He's still technically unfinished, but I would say he's significantly more finished now than he was during the Colorful Combat update.
Yeah, he looks amazing.
He does look amazing. We've gotten him updated with fresh new animations.
Thank you, Reese.
His material work has been also significantly upgraded.
I like that jump ball too.
Yep. All the characters use the same jump ball. It looks especially good on Silver.
I changed the color of it last night.
Yeah. I love Silver's material work. I like what you guys did with it.
Thank you.
It was
well,
fun.
it took both of us.
Yeah.
It was fun to work with her for now.
Yep. Anytime Silver is using a psychic ability or moving above a certain speed, he will activate this material. It's a little bright, but it's way less bright than what it used to be. It used to be blinding, like really fucking bright, but now it's nowhere near as bad.
Hey, actually, so here's a little trick for anybody trying, and just in general material work. If you want to make a character who has a glow look more contrasty to the glow, just darken the character's base colors. That's actually what we did with Silver. He has a darker silver when he's glowing, so it's contrast more.
Does Silver have the quick glide tapping from bug from 06 to glide further? Nope. In fact, I've actually patched that. Here's the thing. And this happened in the vanilla Infinity engine a lot, and it was a problem with Velocity Plus or earlier builds of Infinity Plus for a long time. Characters were able to like demolish level design pretty easily due to their insane mid-air control capabilities. And Silver probably has the best mid-air control ability of any character, especially with his very precise hovering capabilities. Even more so than Tails in some cases. Silver does have this property where the slower you are moving while hovering, the less psychic energy you use. So if you're kind of just like coasting, you're not going to be using a whole lot, versus if you speed up, you're going to be using more. You can see it drains faster as you accelerate. However, Silver as a flight type character has always kind of bothered me because he could never really gain height. He had the ability to hover in place, and he could more precisely platform than a lot of other flight characters. But in terms of like actual flight, Silver has always been shafted. The Tails and Rouge and Cream and Charmy, they always kind of just like outclass Silver. But one perk that we have given all flight characters, this isn't exclusive to Silver, but Silver kind of has a buffed up version of it, is free flight. Except Emmanuel has messed with the controls weirdly.
No, I didn't.
No, the way that you mapped the controls is weird. You did it so that like it's inverted with the pitch and stuff like that.
Oh.
I don't like inverted pitch.
Well, that's how airplanes control. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. It says jump actor class failed. So you see this like colorful like actor that spawns around Silver whenever he jumps. It's like it looks like a particle, but it's actually an actor. Whisper doesn't have one. It fails to spawn. We don't have one made for Whisper. So if you don't have one for an actor, you don't have one created and assigned, it's going to try to attempt to spawn one, and if it can't spawn one, it'll say, hey, actor spawn failed. Essentially, this, like, why not make it a particle? Because if you make it a particle, that makes it significantly more expensive. If you simply just make it an actor, it's less expensive.
And easier to keep track of.
So what?
Yeah, there's some data inside the jump actor that needs tracking.
Yeah.
Instead of putting it in every single character, or in the master character, and stick it in the jump ball actor itself. I mean, it's also a vanilla Infinity thing as well.
The jump actor, I believe, has the hitbox attached to it. Like, is it the jump actor itself that has a hitbox attached to it?
No.
Are you sure? Because Whisper can't jump on enemies.
I think it's just removed for her, but I'm pretty sure the jump actor is the jump hitbox just connected to the character's hips.
All right, well. Yeah, there's information that's tracked in it, mostly with like color and lighting and stuff like that we use. So that's the main thing with that. But yeah, back to Silver. Silver can now free flight. He has a free flight mode. All flight characters actually have this. This is an ability for all free flight characters. It's not active for Tails at the moment. It can be activated for Tails, but it's not active. The main difference between Tails and Silver is Tails' lasts a little bit longer, but Tails is much slower than Silver. Silver has a much faster free flight than Tails does, but the energy drains significantly faster for Silver.
Oh, it doesn't work for Tails? I thought you had to hold down the button.
I can try it with Tails later. Whenever I was testing Tails yesterday, it wouldn't work, but maybe I was doing it wrong. But in order to activate this, if you don't have anything being held for Silver, like if Silver's not holding anything, you simply just press the action button. Boop. The character will hover in place for a moment. They're supposed to play an animation, but we don't have an animation in place for Silver. You just hold it. The reason that they're like staying in place is in case you want to like cancel it. You're like, oh, I didn't mean to accidentally press that button. You can just let go. But if you do want to do it, all you got to do is just hold it and then whoop. You can control the pitch and stuff like that with the controls if you want. But if you don't want to use your character control, you can simply just guide it with the camera instead. If you want to move slower, once you've started flying, you can actually let go of the action button. Holding the action button, I think, makes them go faster, right, Emmanuel? Or
yeah, and letting go will make them slow down.
So if you like activate the flight and let go, the character will slow down. But if you want to move faster, you just hold it, and then will fly even faster.
It doesn't last too long to take too much advantage of, but you still have the option.
Yeah. Whisper is not perfectly bug tested. if you gave Whisper low gravity by accident, it probably has to do with your grappling hook. Try to like grapple onto something. Like swing on something, pull yourself towards something, and like let it go all the way through. It should fix itself afterward.
That's probably on me.
Yeah, Whisper is not perfect. She did not get as much bug testing done as I would have liked. Generally, if that happens, it has to do with the grappling physics not properly resetting. If Whisper has low gravity, it's because her grappling physics did not properly reset. So if you want to fix it, if you just grapple onto something and like properly let go or like let the grapple go all the way through, then you should be able to like reset it properly.
I mean, it's not mandatory, but it would also help for if we are doing a patch later. Anything that you find, any bugs, just to stick them in the bug report section in the official Discord server.
Yeah.
Just refer back to it later, because it would be a huge help.
You can make a 3D Toho game. How did you make the characters turn so good instead of snapping to the directions?
They kind of came like that now that I think about it.
That's a thing that Vanilla Infinity did. We've made adjustments to it, but to my knowledge, it's all Unreal Engine default, like character turning physics and stuff like that. I think Oban just kind of fine-tuned it to how he wanted. But
yeah,
I have since changed it slightly. I didn't make any major changes, but like the turning rate is just slightly different than what it was in Vanilla. It has to do with your speed, like your movement speed directly impacts your turn rate. So like if I'm holding forward and I move above a certain speed and then I hold a direction, you can see like the character like slowly like glides towards that direction, versus if I'm moving slowly, it's like a little bit more responsive.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is that that's not like it's kind of just a physics thing. It's not just a specific rate. It's like, oh, increase or decrease the turn rate. It's like that for rolling, but not with default movement. That's just a combination of different physics factors being combined together. And the reason the character turns in the direction they're going is because there is a function every tick that just turns the actor to look towards the velocity they're going. So that's why it looks the way it does, at least.
Also visually, there's like a lot of bone tweaking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
the characters
yeah.
have a procedural bone calculation going that makes them
Lean
tilt. And, yeah, it's actually really nice.
Yeah, they kind of just tilt.
I'm tilted.
So we also have holding onto objects with silver, the psychokinesis. Objects that have psychokinesis, grabbed onto them will have a material applied to them. It's actually a pretty cool looking material. I like it. It's not like super pronounced, but it's pretty neat.
I tried.
Yep. Whenever you throw an object, it will automatically home in on targets if you're close enough to them. Boop, like so. And if you hold the throw button, you can charge up an attack that doesn't really deal more damage, but it does increase the velocity. If you want to throw a certain object, what you can do is you can hold the throw button and you can press the shoulder buttons to swap actors. So if you're holding a specific actor that you want to throw, you can swap between them using the shoulder buttons.
Even I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, I implemented that quite a long while ago.
Spin.
It does spin them, so they get a funny spin. We're supposed to be able to carry actors or enemies now, but it doesn't work, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel?
Did you stun them?
Yeah.
The stream's behind. I can't tell.
Yeah, stunned.
They're stunned. You can't grab them. Whisper is a
Maybe
lot more fun.
Don't reset either as well.
Say what?
Enemy stun animations do not reset for some reason as well.
Yeah, the animation, like we said, enemy A's are not finished.
Luna
Whispers.
has discovered the joy.
Yep. Whisper swinging is immensely satisfying. Like, it is so fun.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I should probably just make a grappling hook game. Like, I didn't know it would be so fun.
You have no idea how badly I've wanted to make a grappling hook game. Ever since I was a
Hey,
kid, I've
Manuel.
just been like infatuated with grappling hooks. They are so fun.
Hey, Emmanuel, want to come work on my game and implement a grappling hook for me?
As long as I get paid in rubles, I'll do it.
Rupees.
As long as you have enough rupees.
Bomb. Another thing Silver can do, he can throw a psycho knife. The psycho knife he throws, the strength, the size, and the width of it will change depending on how long you hold the button. So if you just tap it, it's a very small and swift attack that deals like a single damage. Boop. But if you hold on to it and then release, it'll be much larger. It'll deal significantly more damage. So that did 4 damage.
Yeah, the longer you hold it down, the more London your knife becomes.
Yep.
I forgot what I did to the friendly egg pawn with its texture.
Oh, didn't you? You gave him a.
He's
You
got
gave him a
mustache
suit
and
and tie. He's
He's
a
got a
dapper
suit and
fellow.
tie.
Charles is a dapper fellow.
Yes, it's Charles, the friendly egg pawn.
This is Charles, the friendly egg pawn. This egg pawn, we did want to implement like friendly enemies and stuff like that, or being able to like turn enemies friendly and stuff like that. We did not manage to get it completely fleshed out like we wanted to, but the system is in place. For example, this gun soldier is neutral to targets, or to players, but it's hostile to Eggman enemies.
Team Dark, Team Rose, Team Soul, Team Sonic, Whisper.
Whisper. Yeah, Whisper is not assigned a team. Whisper is solo. She's the guardian
alone.
angel.
It's more so because she also just didn't have like a parent actor, I think.
No, she's
But she does.
She's parented
No,
to the
she's-
speed parent.
It's just she's not really a form of a team. Even though you could technically try and make a team out of the IDW cast with
Whipper and Jewel.
Whipper,
Tangle and Jewel.
and Tangle,
No, I'm thinking Tangle, Whipper, and Langolin, or
Lanolin.
I like Langolin better.
Who would be the fly type? It'd have to be Whisper. She's the only one who has the ability to fly in that team.
Whippersnapper.
Another thing Whisper can do, or Silver can do, is activate psycho objects.
With his mind.
Just snap.
Yeah.
Oh, does the animation not play for that as well? Damn.
It does. It's just the animation is set to how long you're holding the button.
Oh, you just tapped it. Okay.
Yeah, I just tapped it. If you hold it, it'll like do the proper animation.
I've been trying to use
So.
the flying mode for my engine by key on problems. What's ninja character? It's interesting.
Ninja character blueprint. Not blueprint. Plugin.
Is Seagate supposed to be playable yet or not? Nope, we never repaired Seagate.
Soon disrepair.
Yep. For those who are wondering, Seagate and Planet Wisp are both in the project files. You are welcome to do as you please with them. We never finished Planet Wisp, but we did include it in the project file, so if you guys want to play with it, you're more than welcome to.
What do you mean by we? I never touched them. So
Wow.
Reese and I. Whee!
Whisper does break it badly. There is a way to tone her down. She has a variable that limits her grappling hook to only work on certain surfaces and stuff.
Yeah,
But if you turn it off, she could go anywhere.
we're gonna go over Whisper next since we've gone over Sliver here.
Silver is like a sleeper character that we added. Really. He's never really been a main focus, but he's been worked on at the same time.
This
and
was
he's
kind of
really
supposed to be his update too,
detailed.
which is sad.
The main
It-
thing
it's
is
really-
like the main reason I wanted to add Silver is I wanted to improve him from Sonic 06, and I feel like I've done
Yeah.
that. So I
yeah,
think
he's cool.
Silver here is an improvement on 06. He's not finished. There are things I would have liked to have done with him that we didn't get to, but honestly, at the end of the day, I think he is better than he was in 06.
Oh God, Luna, what have you done with Whisper? Calm down.
Shoot the grappling hook from any distance. I made her more broken. Uh-oh. Also, Silver can do this. He has a stun. Like a slam. He's supposed to play an animation, but the animation doesn't work properly, so...
The Psycho Slam, I think we'll call it.
Yeah, the Psycho Slam.
It's about as functional as he was in 06.
The Japanese voice lines are in the files, they just haven't been assigned, because
Yeah.
a lot of data got wiped, and that was like the last thing to do was patch stuff up, so we did miss a few things while patching stuff up, but the files are
Yeah,
there.
during our cleaning process, a lot of things got reset, and we never, like, ended up repairing it. Quick thing. Something that the flight characters have that are unique to them is they are immune to floor effects. So flight characters can actually walk infinitely on water, or they can run infinitely on water. If you, like, slow down, they're gonna fall into the water, obviously. But they do not get affected by water drag like power characters and speed characters do.
Yeah.
They are also not affected by ice. So, as kind of like a perk, fly characters have a sure-footed perk, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Just as an idea.
You could think about it as what it was like in Team Sonic Racing with the technical character.
Yep.
Where they could drive off-road.
Yep, technical characters could drive off-road and not be, like, slowed down or anything.
And that was kind of that game's stand-in for fly-type characters, so there you go. We merged flight and technical together. Boom.
Yep.
We've made a technical out of it.
And a technicality.
From a technical point of view.
Oh yeah, technically those energy crystals were in our last update. Like the ones that enemies drop and stuff you could pick up.
Oh yeah.
Yes. The 06 energy drops.
So these don't really... These are basically just generic energy, is what they are. So energy is kind of like just a generic term that can be used broadly across multiple characters. For speed characters, energy means boost energy. For power characters, it means their stress meter. For flight characters, it could either mean their flight or their bomb upgrades and stuff like that. For Silver, I believe it's his psycho energy. Like if I grabbed objects with my psychokinesis and then I grabbed an energy, I think I'll get some energy back. No, I will not. Okay. So for Silver, I believe it's probably his flight, more than likely. But for Tails, because Tails uses bombs and he has a scrap system for those bombs, the energy will... the generic energy will go to that. I noticed this bug whenever I played. There is a trail, like the floor tile behind. It's really distracting. Are you talking about like the?
So maybe a particle thing.
No, yeah, I saw the thing. It's Blaze when she runs that leaves a corrupted particle behind her. So from what I know, it is her heat effect. I believe it's not working for the packaged version that you've done, like the demo. It's not showing up.
The package demo, for some reason, it's weird. Whenever you package a demo, you are capable of recompiling all of the textures and particles. And I have it set to do that. It's supposed to recompile all of the particles and all of the textures in the framework, and like in the engine. It's supposed to recompile them, so that way they work. But for some reason, there are particles inside of the package demo that do not work despite the fact that they have been recompiled. If I were to recompile them in the framework and then use them in the framework, like in engine, it would still work. But for some reason, with package demos, it does not. I don't understand it. It's a quirk of the engine. I don't get it. So anyway, that's enough Sliver. We'll go over Tails a little bit. Just a tiny bit of Tails.
What about a tiny bit of Knuckles? You can leave Knuckles out of this? Cool.
We'll do a tiny bit of Knuckles too, but we
Don't
want
worry,
to get
he'll go
onto
over
the.
Knuckles. I'll make sure of it.
Oh, yeah.
We want to go over the main thing.
Yeah.
Also,
But isn't... Yeah, you carry on, Fizz?
I don't understand why the UI asset is like way up here. I don't know why it wasn't lowered.
Yeah. I don't know why it spawns higher. It's using the same spawning system as the rest. But also a little bonus thing as well. Seeing how Knuckles had his hat and Sonic had his glasses, I went through and gave everybody else just a one accessory thing that is also toggleable, I believe. And if it's not toggleable, you can just delete it in the character.
Also, no, does not seem like Tails can free flight.
No, you have to hold down control.
Why is it control?
Because he does this air swipe with the other one.
All right.
The map is nowhere.
I guess that does make sense.
All right, so for Tails, for Silver, it's the action button. For Tails, it's the stomp button.
Don't at me.
That should be done.
Yeah.
It is. Tails is really cool compared to like when we first added him into the thing where Tails has come a long way.
So yep, Tails is pretty much the same as he was in the Colorful Combat for the most part, other than the immunity to water friction. He hasn't really changed a whole lot. He has a snazzy new goggles.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, even Shadow has got some got an accessory on.
Yep. Hop.
The only character that, well, actually no, Blaze and Metal Sonic don't have any. Because there really wasn't anything I could think about for them.
Yeah. Yeah, not a whole lot has changed for Tails. He's still a silly. He's still a little goober. Tails has the same free flight that Silver does. And it controls the same way. You can either use your control keys or control stick or the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a whole lot to talk about with Tails. One thing we wanted to do with Tails that we never got around to, and I'm kind of sad that we never got to do, is we wanted to change his underwater flying animation to be doggy paddle. But we never got around to it, unfortunately. Yeah, he still flies underwater. We wanted to change it to a doggy paddle, but we never got around to doing it, unfortunately.
Never got the animations.
Nope. So, Shuckles. Go ahead.
Did I make a doggy paddle animation? I think I was about to start one, but then I never got around to it. And also, Knuckles was going to do like the breaststroke as well.
Yeah. Knuckles was gonna do like a breaststroke underwater, like he does in Advanced 3.
Yeah. As per usual, Knuckles got more work because I don't know, like he's easy to.
From him.
It's easy to like update him because there's so much nuance to him. There was another thing I was going to add, and then I ripped it out, kind of.
What?
Something to do with shoulder buttons, but I plugged up the timeline, so I never actually got around to it.
The only thing with Knuckles that still needed to be added was the whole climbing over ledges.
Yeah.
That still never got added. I forgot about that, actually.
We got so used to just jumping over the ledge.
Yep. I don't think a whole lot has changed with Knuckles, has it?
No, there has been changes.
Oh, yeah, he's had changes to his combat. I don't remember what they were.
Leaves call. No, so really the major thing is that his third hit for his combo is now like actually that drill dive thing. Instead of it being that little spin he did.
Yep.
It has a bit of like stuff you can do with it. Like if you just hold it down, you just drill into enemies.
So Charles can hit you.
But yeah, his hitbox still technically, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just hold down the drill button, you can drill into enemies and get a speed boost out of it if you do that. Also, I did a lot of tweaking with Knuckles' hitting stuff so that enemies actually start kind of magnetized to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every time you do stuff with Knuckles and Manual, it's like way different. Every time you've updated him, he's changed.
Yeah. So Knuckles, essentially, to like do an example, mainly it's his third combo that's changed. You can hit 3 times, and if you just hold the button, you just kind of charge through like so. If you let go after he does the other attack, he will, or like the third attack, he'll kind of just do like an additional punch that knocks enemies away. Get rid of this guy. Boop.
Yeah. There's different nuances to it depending if you hold it down or not, or if you're hitting an enemy while you're doing it, or if you hit a wall while doing it.
Yeah. But then, like, if you let go at the right time... Oh, he didn't start it. Boop. You can kick the enemy and launch yourself backwards.
Tails with a grapple.
No, he doesn't need more move ability.
I could see it being cool as a wrecking ball move. Him just being able to pick up something and use it as a wrecking ball.
So yeah, if you do the third punch combo, dig right into a wall.
Yeah, I wanted to tie his move. Like, the goal, you know, is to try to tie his moves more together, and hopefully people can take that further.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the tunneling system. I know, like, it's not exactly a new concept, but I think it works really well in here.
Ooh. I'm glad we did the tunneling system. I think the tunneling system's cool.
Yeah.
It is.
I still can't believe I started doing a prototype, and then I was like, hey guys, look what I did. Project Hero was like, hey, look at our tunneling system. I was like,
Bonk. So yeah, I don't think there's anything changed with his, like, power attacks, right?
no, those have not been changed.
Yeah. Knuckles has a hat. That's not new, but I just wanted to point it out.
Love how quickly you said that.
He has
He has a hat? That's not new.
You can't see him without the hat anymore.
Knuckles without a hat looks bald.
I mean, technically, he has to technically be, you know, he's not bald without them. He has the his dreadlocks.
It's just not natural seeing him without the hat now. We've looked at it for like 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just ingrained in our minds.
I blame Reese.
You blame me.
Yeah, he had the hat. Now we can't see him any other way.
We all agreed the hat was cool though. It was unanimous.
Uh-huh, that's what they... Yeah, sure. Democratize it, why don't you? We did not add in any proper fan physics with Knuckles' glide or Tails' flight.
The fans will simply just interrupt it.
Yeah. Like, maybe something added in the future, but for now it's just, you know.
The future patch. Possible future patch.
Yeah. So that's... We've not really done much of anything else with Knuckles.
Okay,
Knuckles dig items from the ground walls on SA1 and SA2. Nope. It wouldn't necessarily be difficult to do something like that. What you could do is you could set up an actor that has a volume that you could, like, if it tracks that Knuckles is inside of it and he's digging, and he, like, exits his dig. If there's a way to, like, track when Knuckles exits the dig state, you could be like, hey, if you're inside this volume and you exit the dig state, call the item get code or something like that. You know what I mean?
You just roll a random number, and if it rolls, it'll get an item.
Yeah, or if you wanted to set a specific actor, you could do that instead. Like, hey, you get this item if you do it in this specific spot or something like that, you know? So on to the main event. I know we're like an hour and a half in, but on to the main event.
Blaze the cat.
First.
Yeah, Blaze the cat. We got Whipper, the newest edition. So like I was saying earlier, you could tell with Knuckles and Tails and Silver and Sonic, whenever they jumped, they had like this actor that formed around them. Whisper does not have that, so that's why it says jump actor class fail.
She does not have the hops.
She does not. So we've already gone over Whisper once before, but we're gonna go over again, not as in much detail, but just for those who are new or curious. Whisper has 2 different modes. How can I give Whisper a jump actor? We can go over that in a little bit. I'm not entirely sure how to do it because reset up the system, but Whisper has 2 different modes. She has exploration mode and she has combat mode. The combat mode revolves around using wisps
Laser.
that you equip and get throughout the world. Yeah, it's harmless. It's just a like, hey, I tried spawning this in, but I couldn't. That's all it does. It then proceeds to do what it normally would. During the exploration mode, Whisper has, well, in both modes, she has an aim functionality. But during the exploration mode, she can grapple on or hookshot onto walls or actors. Or she can hookshot, or she can hookshot onto them, or she can grapple onto them, depending on which button you press. So for a controller, if you're using Xbox, X would be grapple to swing, and Y would be to hookshot to pull towards you, like so. Yep. You can tell if an actor or if a wall is close enough to be grappled onto based on the color of the reticle here. You can see that once it turns gray, I'm not able to fire, but as soon as it turns red, I'm able to hookshot onto it.
Yeah. And if you hook onto a wall, Whisper will actually act differently depending on like if you let go early, if you hit the wall and like there's a ledge to it or something. She'll at least try.
Here we go. Now this is going to be the rest of the stream.
Yep. So, Whisper's aiming is obviously dependent on her camera. You have to be able to aim at things, which can be kind of difficult for a controller because the analog stick and the buttons you press to actually use, you know, the hook shot or the grappling hook are generally pressed with the thumb. Like you use the right analog stick with the thumb and you press X and Y with the thumb, so it's kind of difficult. So what you can do is if you're in midair, you can hold the aim button, which, by the way, aiming with Whisper is the drift button, left shoulder button. If you aim in midair, time will slow down, allowing you to move where you want to, and then you can grapple or hookshot. So for controller, it's a little bit easier to do that if you want to aim while in midair, slow down time, aim where you want to go, and then swoop.
I mean, plus, if you could do it on Fortnite, you could do it here. Let's be honest.
If you play Fortnite on controller, you should be able to do it, yeah. But if you're wanting to design your level and you want it to be like playable by controller, keep in mind we designed Whisper with keyboard and mouse in mind first, and then controller second. But if you want to make it easier for controller players, you can use these pylons right here. Play Fortnite on the controller weird because I need to aim and turn. Oof.
You hold it with the crab grab.
Yeah, if you use the crab grab. If you want to, you can use the crab grab for Whisper. But
Crab McGraw?
if you don't want to like rely on like camera movement for swinging and stuff like that, you can use these pylons, which are tracked via the homing attack. Whoop. You don't have to press any specific button to use these. You just treat it like you would a homing attack. You press the jump button. Whoop. The red ones allow you to swing with the grappling hook, whilst the yellow ones use the hook shot. Bonk.
Yeah, they're pretty handy.
Yep.
Also,
You can. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the wisp follower is just like top tier. This is fun to watch.
So to let go of these with the swing ones, you press the jump button again. So these are not like they're not like preset in terms of like your physics, but you can
Not
preset
automated.
the length. Yeah, they're not automated with the physics. They don't have like a dedicated launch trajectory. It's something I wanted to add, but it kind of got a little complicated.
That'll be hard to do considering how freeform they are. You'll have to pretty much create an entirely separate one that automates it for you.
Yeah,
I
there's
think.
a thing. You have to be like,
Blue.
oh, Whisper, like instead of using the grappling hook, if you home attack this one specifically, you get launched at a specific angle rather than like call the hookshot code. You won't even use the hookshot code at that point in time.
Yeah, probably play a little animation. Kind of maybe like the rocket slingshot thing, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Well, the rocket slingshot doesn't play an animation. It actually rotates a component, but... can Whisper pull objects towards her with a grappling hook? No. That's something we wanted to do, but we just never got around to it. Whisper was already super complicated. Like, keep in mind, this is only, like, a third of Whisper's capabilities. Like, the grappling hook and the hookshot, this constitutes, like, 1/3 of Whisper's ability, and this was already super complicated to put together.
Like, this is only 1% of my power!
So yeah, you can see like the length of the grappling hook can change depending on the pylon, and you can set that specifically per pylon. So if I swing over to this other one,
Almost did a full rotation there.
you'll see that the hook shot is much shorter. You don't have to set a custom length if you don't want to. What you can do is you can set it so that if you don't want a custom length, the length will be set to whatever distance away Whisper was whenever she hookshot onto it. So these here, they pull her up to a length, or they like drop her down to a specific length. But you do not have to set a custom length for them.
I remember when you asked me to put that in, I don't know why, it started clicking after that. Because I think I also messed with the hookshot code, and I was like, oh god, this is fun. What have I done?
A lot of this time was us playing with the grappling hook. Every game deserves grappling hooks.
Whee! I wonder if that's like why Spider-Man is like such a beloved character to so many, because we as humans, for some reason, have just have an infatuation with grappling hooks.
Well, because like to get a bit technical, humans are really, really good at like calculating like velocities for projectiles. Like we have ballistic calculators in our brains, essentially. So we're really good at chucking spears.
Yeah.
So like that includes swinging things. So, like it's basically the same kind of premise. So like the idea of like swinging from place to place like makes a lot of sense to us, and it's an intuitive thing to think of how to do. But it's actually harder than it looks. So the idea of someone who could do that so free, like Spider-Man, click.
Yep.
I want pictures of Spider-Man.
So Whisper's other capabilities is her combat mode. In her combat mode... Oh, fell down. Hop back. In combat mode, you can use wisps.
Sniper.
And shoot enemies with the different types of wisp abilities. So let's see here. Let's go with the rocket. So each wisp has different capabilities. Let's go with Eagle instead. Each projectile has its own properties. Eagle is like a mini follower rocket, or mini homing rocket. Go ahead, Reese.
I was just saying, the radial menu does not work with controller, I believe. That is one small thing with this. One caveat.
Yeah, currently I guess the radial menu does not work with controller. To change these, by the way, if you want to swap between combat mode and exploration mode, it's right shoulder button. So E on controller, right shoulder button on control, or on keyboard it's E.
Eagle.
Right shoulder button on controller.
Eagle.
And then with with controller or with keyboard and mouse, you press Q to pull up the radial menu, and you simply just select with your mouse.
Burst.
Same thing, mouse 1 or left shoulder button to aim, and then you press the action button to shoot, or shift on keyboard.
Man, how many weapons did we have to come up with again?
16, I think.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, 16. 16 unique weapons. Each one does
Ew.
something slightly different. Like, for example, Cube knocks enemies into the air,
Quake.
whilst Quake knocks enemies away. Cube also works on a radius, whilst Quake works on a cone. We have Burst, which is a very wide cone, or like a very wide capsule of fire, versus
Lightning.
Lightning, which is much shorter. Like, Lightning has a much shorter range. However, Lightning also chains between targets.
Frenzy.
We got Frenzy, which is a massive melee weapon.
Yeah, it's like a shotgun.
It's like a shotgun. You charge it, and then you let go. Boop. Very good close range capability. They aren't doing anything to you. You got Bomb, which is a trigger bomb. You shoot it, and you press it again.
Grenade launcher.
Yep, it's a grenade launcher, but it's a trigger grenade launcher, so you press it again after you fire it, and boop.
Whisper is overpowered.
Just a little bit. The enemies are not properly like bounced to handle someone like Whisper.
Laser.
Yeah, she's just also like spawned with all of her wisps, which, you know, if you're a design level, you probably wouldn't have her do that. But
Yeah, no. She is not meant to spawn with all of her wisps, is the idea.
yeah, you gotta know she's actually very weak without her wisps, because all she could do is grapple.
Spikes.
There's Spike, which is fun.
Oh yeah, I never did add in like a aim spread thing to that one. Oh well,
Oh well.
Oh, wow.
just gotta live and learn.
That's what the
Drill.
drill. Drill's meant to carry enemies with it, I think, but we never got around to it. We also
And
have Laser.
I did create a projectile actor to help facilitate all this. It's just an actor that these are all parented from that helps take care of like a lot of basic like homing or collision properties of any projectile you'll want.
Yep. The cool thing about Cyan Laser is it's the longest range wisp, but it also bounces between targets.
Yeah, it will like seek out enemies between targets if they're close enough.
Yep.
That was the most. I think it's the one we worked on the most, and was also the most fun, at least for me personally, to work on.
Asteroid's cool, and the fact that it kind of acts like a landmine. I wanted to increase its size. But, Asteroid is kind of like a landmine that you place down, and with each target that walks into it, it'll damage the target, and it'll grow in size, is what it's supposed to do.
Weapon gameplay. Oh, fucking hell.
If you guys ever said
Before-
this.
Before egg pawns. Oh, I'm just not even seeing it now.
Where did we come with the name Velocity? I think Reese came up with the name Velocity, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, Reese was the one that came up with the name Velocity. I wanted to call it the Fusion Framework. Did you come up with the
I thought it was
name?
like Blueprint. You also had another one with like Blueprint
Yeah.
or something, didn't you?
I came up with Blueprint as well as Fusion.
I think I came with spin and like peel out.
Yeah. Can bomb drill, destroy cracked walls and such. We wanted them to. We modified the breakable walls to be breakable with wisps. And we wanted to include the wisp projectiles into that, but I don't think we ever got around to actually doing it. So maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember.
Check
Ghost-
back in 2030.
Ghost is interesting in that enemies hit with a ghost will become friendly. He's not going to attack me.
attacks you.
No.
Take my word for it. He's friendly. Okay, drop it.
No.
Yeah, you're not gonna do it, are you?
No. He's supposed to like forget you as a target, and he's supposed to like focus on someone else instead. Is what he's supposed to do. But
Code doesn't seem to trigger.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. You see, I hit this guy, and he tried to attack the black one.
Wow.
I wasn't gonna say
Nothing.
anything. Okay.
I'm saying that's a move. It's like he's betraying him.
Yeah. See, there you go.
They're both on the same team again, yet they're still attacking. I just love it when the sword ones attack. It's just so dramatic.
Yeah. So hover is fun because hover. Oh, god damn it. Hover will sit in one spot. It'll also bounce, but if it hits a target, what it will do. Oh, good lord. Once it attaches to a target, it'll lift them up into the air. And then drop them.
Oh, you know, I just had an amazing idea for what we could have done with hover.
What?
But
Basically making it how it was in the comics, where she flies upwards with it, Mary Poppins style. But any enemies that are caught underneath you get
pulled up.
flung up with you. Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah. That's I guess we can maybe discuss that now. We had a lot of ideas on how to implement Whisper, and what we just decided on is the grappling. That's something we kind of just decided on because it would be cool to show off and
Lightning.
merge her with like forces. Don't hate us. But also we were trying to figure out how to implement the wisps and also implement them in terms of like how an IDW kind of uses them for like movement and stuff. The short answer is we didn't do the movement part. We never got around to it. The wisps were originally going to have like an alternative function you can do that
Yeah,
like
there's
if
gonna
you
be
aim
no
them they will
fire.
do.
Yeah, all the wisps were meant to have an alternate fire. The alternate fire, the primary fire was meant to be combat related, while the alternate fire was meant to be more platforming related, was the idea. But, like, taking on all 16 wisps, just giving them each a unique fire state was already, like, a lot of fucking work.
Getting her animations, the grappling system in general,
Yeah.
along with everything else. There's just a lot. I think one idea we came down to is maybe we could have made so like her double jump slightly changes with each wisp we have. Because her right on a double jump barely does anything, and that could be an idea, but never got to it.
Her double jump is not meant to do anything. Whisper is meant to be... She is a speed character, but she's meant to represent like the adventure style more so than the boost style. And as such, she has a slightly higher jump than Sonic does, because in the adventure games, Sonic has a really high fucking jump. But her double jump is pretty pathetic. It's mostly just meant to like sustain airtime a little bit longer, is what it's meant to do.
Yeah, which I mean, I think it works in a speed platforming kind of game where the double jump, that can work because the double jump does not really give you hype, but like if you're moving fast, prolong the time you're in the air for just a bit longer. Help you line up your jumps.
She's not meant to have the boost efficiency bar. We were going to give her a unique HUD entirely, but we never got around to it, unfortunately.
Every time.
Never got any assets for it.
We had
It's
one
gonna be a-
designed and everything.
Hmm.
Do not play a drinking game where you drink every time we say we were going to implement it. You will die. Doing the this is just a little tidbit, but I implementing the little homing attack like grapple thing was actually really fun.
Whisper has a unique homing attack.
Yeah,
There's a
'Cause all I-
strong attack.
the most fun part was just figuring out how to make it work with the old grappling hook and making it modular enough. All it does just it just does a homing attack but delays it so that it gives you the feeling.
Stalled homing attack, I like to call it. But I just find it funny when you jump off of like a really high place, the wisp follows you and it just barrels into the floor when you hit the ground.
Yeah. We wanted to give these things collision, but if we did that, then Like turning
come to get
on and
back.
off the turning on and off the collision was annoying. It didn't want to work. And
It would
even when
cause
we
more
did turn it on, it
issues.
still wouldn't like properly overlap with objects.
It would cause more issues than it was worth.
Yeah.
Just let them fly through stuff. It doesn't matter too much.
It's a
Personally, what
wisp.
I would have done is like one way to get around that is to keep the collision always on and just do a trick where if it gets stuck somewhere, just teleport the wisp right behind the camera.
That's what I did. The wisp already does that. If the wisp recognizes that it's far enough away from the character, it will teleport behind the character.
It teleports behind you. Blue cube.
So, like for example, with these warp rings here, this warp ring is going to send me all the way to the other side of the map. The wisp isn't going to follow me. What's going to happen is I'm going to teleport through, and the wisp is going to like teleport above me. It's going to be like, oh, I'm far away. I'm going to teleport above me. And I even tried turning on collision for the wisp, but no matter what I did in the collision settings, it wouldn't actually collide with anything. It didn't seem to fucking work, and I don't get it.
Interesting. You didn't try turning into Wumbo?
That was weird. Wumbo.
So yeah, another small thing. It was obviously talked about last time we streamed, but because of the Wisp follower, there is Chow followers as well.
Yep, we now have code for a Chow follower if you want to like include a little Chow. We initially wanted to actually include Chow follower code a long time ago. We were playing around with the idea because we even like imported a cream model and we had like cheese floating around. Did not work super well, but
Nope. Jittering around quite a bit.
we were trying to come up with like a way for the player to remember which wisp they had in like between modes. So if you swap between like combat mode and platformer mode and then or like exploration mode and then back to combat mode, you're going to equip the wisp that you last had. And the best way to remember that was just simply have the wisp pop out. Can you replace Whisper with Professor Pickle? I mean, you could. Don't know why you would. Professor Pickle deserves his own character, so...
He's been modded into Frontiers, so now Frontiers is peak game.
Yeah.
Peak game.
So now whatever wisp that you had previously equipped will pop out and float behind you. Is what will happen.
It was an unintentional reuse of all code, which serves a brilliant function.
Yep.
It's like, literally just turned around and like, well, I have this old Chow code lying around. We could just use this.
Laser.
Didn't I like initially implement the little Wisp follower to just demonstrate it to you guys, and then we built upon it and made it better?
Yeah,
I think you also did it for the flickies also.
Yeah, we also did it for the flickies because we wanted to give Super Tails flickies, but we never did.
I think we did.
Laser.
I think the Super Flickies are like their own little small actors that follow him.
We'll test here in a little bit. So one quick last thing about the wisps when it comes to like combat mode. You probably see this number on the top left. It says like 320. It's a little small, but it's a little difficult to see. If you grab energy crystals, or if you grab white wisps, or if you grab a wisp that you already have in your inventory, that energy that you would have gotten goes into what we call the buffer. The buffer can be applied to wisps that you have equipped. You simply press Y or the F key on keyboard, and you will refill your energy. You'll pull from the buffer and refill your energy. So if you want to constantly keep a wisp in your inventory, you simply just need to keep their energy filled up. Because if you don't, if you run out of wisp energy, it says we're out of wisp energy, but we're actually not.
It lies.
Yeah, the radial menu is not actually accurate. I don't know why, but oh, come on.
Also, I need to go do an errand. Apparently, I need to go pick someone up.
Yeah. If you run out of wisp energy, the wisp will leave your inventory.
Anyway, sorry to have to go, but I'll see y'all later.
Frenzy.
All right, have a good night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have fun,
then,
everybody. Enjoy the update. And make sure to ping me specifically if you have a problem, because I'll definitely fix it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be the one. Okay, bye.
bye.
When you said that, oof, I'm sorry. Pew pew indeed. So yeah, if you run out of wisp energy, the wisp will just leave your inventory, which is why you would want to use the buffer system to like replenish energy. But if you like if you've used up a wisp and you're like, you can clearly see that, hey, like I've used up the wisp energy that I have. What you can do is you can grab a wisp that you already have, and it'll replenish that energy, and whatever energy that you end up not using will go into the buffer.
Frenzy. Rocket.
So Rocket probably has about 20 energy, maybe 10 energy, but if I went and I grabbed Rocket Wisp, it's gonna refill a vast majority of my energy, but the leftover that it didn't refill will go into the buffer.
Hover.
So yeah.
Very
That's weird. Emmanuel, what did you do?
Oh, oh no.
That's not supposed to happen.
Burst.
I don't even know where to begin fixing that kind of bug. That's a game-breaking bug right there. You can just infinitely gain height if you wanted to.
Oh. Sure, the ball goes back.
So what?
The ball goes back with that bug.
Yeah.
Whipper.
So yeah, that's Whisper.
Yeah.
And that would be Velocity Plus, honestly. I'm retiring. That's it. I'm done. That's it. I quit.
Flies over to the other side of the country.
I'm glad you got that reference.
Yes, I know that reference.
All right, so I will still be around in the Discord. I'm gonna help with the bug, not necessarily bug fixing, but if like people have issues or questions, I'll be around to answer them. But I'm not gonna be really doing any work anymore on the project. Reese and Emmanuel might do some more work. I am going to have to update the link here soon, because currently right now the project files are still attached to my personal Google Drive. I set up a Gmail specifically for Velocity Plus, and I'm going to be moving it over to that Google Drive. And then whoever ends up taking over the project from there, if someone wants to like officially take over the project and the community is okay with it, then I can give all of the login info to all that good stuff to them. This stream is going to be re-uploaded to my channel, and it will act as the Velocity Plus like official release stream video. You can come here to get the project files if you want. You can also obviously go to the Discord. You can also go to the Twitter channel. All that good stuff. There'll be links everywhere for all that good stuff. You can go to the Game Jolt to... You won't get the project files from the Game Jolt, but you can get the demo from the Game Jolt.
Hey, dear me.
Alrighty, well, we've hit the 2-hour mark. Is there any questions, comments, else? Anything they want to talk about?
I think I'll mention as as a note, the mentioned before, me and Emmanuel may continue working on this. What we may do, I mean, again, it comes down to if Emmanuel is going to agree to this as well. February is definitely going to be pretty much a nothing happening month, at the least. Maybe if there is some really critical bugs that need fixing, we'll try and get them done soon as. But anything for like future content wouldn't be for a while, to be honest.
Yeah.
We are probably going to be taking breaks now and focusing on our own personal jobs, hobbies, work, stuff like that. So I don't want to say we're done with it, but we're not like fully committing to it anymore, is the thing. So for February, don't really expect much else unless there's anything critical that needs fixing.
I'm not going to be available much at all throughout February because the beginning of February, I'm going to be doing my birthday, but then immediately after, I got to do taxes because adulting. But then, like, the rest of February, I'm going to be planning to take a trip because my younger sibling is getting married. I got to fly out for that. That's going to be an entire ordeal. So I'm not really going to be available too much until March, unfortunately, because I'm going to be busy the next couple of weeks. Basically, all of February, I'm going to be busy.
Wow.
So don't expect much from me other than, like, my own personal streams. And even then, I don't know how much of that I'm going to be able to do. My next personal project will be my next project after Velocity Plus. I'm working on a horror game right now. So that'll be my next game. And I do actually plan on selling it because I need to make some kind of money off of the work that I do. So I might end up opening a not a Patreon, what is it?
Kofi?
I don't know. I might open up some way to like financially support that game. Who knows? And other projects that I do in the future, but we'll have to see about that.
Hello there, Fabio, as well, by the way. And
yeah, how's it going, Fabio?
Stream.
Who do I have in mind to get the project to? Nobody. There's nobody in mind. If someone wants to approach us, they can do so in the Velocity Plus server. But keep in mind that whoever takes over the project must be voted on by the community. I'm not just going to hand it over to whoever I feel will be good. I want the community to decide. So, yeah. Also, one thing I wanted to go over real quick. I kind of wanted to do this in the beginning of the stream, but I completely forgot. Because, fuck me, I guess. The reason we rebranded from Infinity Plus to Velocity Plus, because this is gonna be acting as like the official video that you can go to like discuss the official release of Velocity Plus. I want, like, if anyone wants to talk about like the release of Velocity Plus, I want to like this video to be the one that people go back to. The reason we are rebranding simply is we feel that the sheer amount of content and the type of content and everything that this framework has in it is so far removed from the original framework or the original Infinity engine to the point where it's like we have done so much work to this that it's essentially not necessarily indistinguishable. You can look at it and from a face value, it does look a lot like vanilla Infinity engine. That's because we wanted to keep a lot of the some of the more core aspects that Oban had originally included. However, when you look at all the content, all the things we've added, all the things we've changed, just essentially everything that we have done over the past 4 years, it has become essentially a completely different beast from base Infinity engine. Yeah, like, yeah, Infinity Engine, original Infinity Engine doesn't even have a third of what we have here. Like, this is a much more finished framework. This is something that you can take and actually make a game out of without having to do a bunch of custom work yourself. Like, if you wanted to simply make a very simple fan game out of this, you can do that. If you want to do custom work on it, you can still do that. But there's a lot of things that Vanilla Infinity Engine doesn't have that is needed for a game, such as menus, level selects, save data, level transitions, multiple characters, a character spawning character select system, multiple instances of like object interactions, a much more wider multitude of objects, as well as enemy types and more dynamic enemy systems. Like this has so much more than Vanilla Infinity Engine does that it's basically become its own thing. It is built off of Infinity Engine, but it has become its own thing. So think Hedge Physics to Bumper. Bumper was built off of Hedge Physics, but Bumper is now its own thing. And it's titled its own thing. So if Bumper can name its framework its own thing, despite being built off another framework, then so can we. Another thing is, I think it was about 2 years ago, Emmanuel and Reese came to me. They were like, hey, people can't see the difference between Infinity Engine and Infinity Plus. Like, people keep getting our frameworks confused. Can we rename it? And I said no, and I was wrong, because people still couldn't tell the difference. I thought that people would be smart enough and could tell the difference for themselves, and I was wrong. People cannot do that. So essentially this rebrand was like 2 years coming, and we just held off on it for way too long, but it's finally happened. The final release is named what we want it to be. I feel like Sonic Velocity Plus is our work, not only like my work, Reese's work, and Emmanuel's work, but the work the community has put into it as well. Like the changes, the suggestions, the additions that other people have brought to us and we have included. Like, I feel like Velocity Plus at this point is the community created version of Infinity Engine. Velocity Plus is now its own thing. And yes, there is Sonic Onions. Sonic Omens was not the sole reason why we wanted to rebrand, but it was a big reason. I know I've said this like 3 times already, and I want this to be the final time that I say this publicly. If anyone's like, oh, they're rebranding because they didn't want, like, they wanted to distance themselves from Sonic Onions. Yes, we did, but not for the reasons that people think. Sonic Omens wasn't built in Infinity Plus. It wasn't built in Velocity Plus. It wasn't built in our framework. It was built in the vanilla Infinity Engine framework. Which is why we want to rebrand from that name. People couldn't tell the difference between our framework and their framework. A lot of people thought Omens was built in our framework. That is wrong. That is false. It's just factually incorrect. If anyone says otherwise, they're stupid. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be insulting, but like, as someone who has involved themselves in this community for 4 years now, I understand the difference between Infinity Engine and Infinity Plus, now known as Velocity Plus. It's not the same. So I think I know whenever the framework, like what type of framework that game was built in. I had like kept up with it since its earlier days, back when it was called Sonic 2020. I had even discussed a couple of things in the very early stages of the game's development, because we were working Infinity Engine, they were working in Infinity Engine. There was some talk between developers in the very, very early stages. I think it was by the Shadow 2020, like the Shadow of Water update, like Sonic 2020 Shadow of Water. That was like the last time we ever communicated as like 2 separate teams, because they took assets from us without asking. So yeah, them taking an asset from I Plus and creating your team without any involvement definitely didn't help. Yeah. That was the last time we ever talked to them. We said, hey, could you please credit us? Maybe. Actually, no, we didn't say that. We didn't ever approach them. They approached us because someone else called them out on it. Someone's like, hey, you took assets from Infinity Plus and you didn't credit them. And we were going to leave it alone because technically Infinity Plus and Velocity Plus, it's open source. People are technically allowed to take our assets because we have attained our assets. We've either created them ourselves or we've obtained them through publicly obtainable sources for free. Like nothing that we have was ever paid for, and nothing we have isn't already accessible online for yourself. So people technically can take our assets and do whatever they want with them. So they didn't actually have to credit us for it. They didn't have to ask for permission, but the fact that they didn't, and they actually took one of the assets that we ourselves created because they took the egg flapper from us. That's something that we actually created. That wasn't like an officially ripped asset or something. We actually made that. Someone got onto them about it and they're like, hey, who do you want us to credit as? And we're like, all right, credit these people as it. And now we're in the credits for Sonic Onions. Not because we actually contributed any code, but because they took stuff from us without asking. So yeah, if people are going to constantly confuse our framework with the framework that made one of the most infamous fan games of all time, despite the fact that those two frameworks are not the same thing anymore, then yeah, we're gonna rebrand. They're not the same thing anymore. It's not the same. Sonic Onions was not built in our framework. But people keep getting that confused because we share a name with each other, so we're renaming. It's now called the Velocity Framework, Velocity Plus. That's not the sole reason we renamed the project, but it is a big reason. I think that the framework has gotten far, and I'm proud of the work for you and your team put in Crash release. Thank you. And I Plus was a lot more than the addition at the point of C Plus or Colorful Combat. Yeah. Through a misput title, I'm glad. Play with Whisper. I mean, that's cool. That's good. I don't know if we will actually release this, or well, I don't know if we'll include this into Sage 2023. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Who knows? I have no intentions of including this into Sage 2023, but if the community wants us to, then we can submit an entry. Maybe we can get an actual trailer made for it. Who knows? I keep talking about it as if I'm still going to be the lead of the project. I'm not. Once this stream is over, I'm changing my title in the Discord to former lead developer. And then I might open this up and play around with it every once in a while, but I'm putting it on the shelf indefinitely. So yeah, I just wanted to discuss the reason for the rebrand because I know people are going to be like, why did they rebrand? They're just, they're trying to take Vanilla Infinity Engine and credit it as their own, even though that's not the case at all. I know someone's going to say that, and that is not the case. If anyone says that, it goes to show how little they actually know about the situation. So yeah, any last questions? This is the last call for questions, comments. You can access the demo in the Discord for anyone who's wondering how to get the project files. You can get them at any time. You just got to join the Discord. There's an entire channel called Infinity Links. It's listed in the links. It'll be the first link you see. Oh, the Whisper jump ball. Yeah, let me do that real quick. So we open up Sonic. Go into the detail panels. You can type in jump. Wait, hold on. Where do you assign that, Reese? Is it just in the detail panels or?
Character.
So what?
Type in character.
Oh, so you type in character. And
then around the area where you assign all the animations, there should be one that says character actors or something like that. There's a little drop-down menu.
Character related. Okay,
Yeah, character
actors.
related.
Okay, so you go to characters. There's important, character related, actors, and then there's jump, boost, and target. The target is simply just the target actor for like the homing attack. The boost is the cone actor that spawns around the actor whenever they boost. And then this is the jump actor. You assigned it here. So you select it and you select an actor that spawns. You could technically put anything you want, but we expect it to be a jump actor or a child of the jump actor. So if I were to, let's character related, animations, actor. We can see jump actor right here. So if let's go to like Tails, because Tails is a jump actor, doesn't he?
Has one, he should do. Yeah,
Tails. Character. Values. God damn, there's a bunch of stuff. Important. Jump actor. Yeah, he uses the same jump actor, so. Oh, yeah, they all use the same jump actor. I think you can do the same thing for Whisper, but where do you change the colors at? I don't remember.
It's also in that same area, the important.
Okay, jump ball and boost color. So yeah. So under character related, you assign that actor. You simply just assign the jump ball actor, and then you can change the color through here. So if you want to give Whisper a jump ball, it's pretty easy. But if you want, you can also assign a different jump actor. This variable here is simply just used inside of the structure to assign a color to the material of the actor. So if you want to do that, you'll have to like make sure the actor that you assign the material work that it has can account for this color if you still want to use this color. I believe that's done in the master character, like what is it? Where is it? The construction script? Is it done in the construction script or is it done somewhere else?
For what bit exactly, sorry?
Assigning the color to the jump actor.
It's done when the jump actor spawns.
Oh. It's done every time the jump actor spawns?
Yeah. Because the jump actor gets destroyed every time you land.
Alright. But for now, this looks like a solid framework for people to use if they have zero experience. Also, how organized is the code now? It's a lot more organized. As you can see in the variables, there's still a couple of stray variables here and there, but for the most part, all the variables are now organized into categories. This took me a week to do. It took me a solid week to just organize all of these variables. Just all of them. Same thing with the speed parent, power parent. I've also organized a bunch of the other actors. I did never organize the water volume, and I don't think I ever organized the spline paths, and I don't think I did the enemies too either. But pretty much all of the objects that you see, their code is organized for the most part. The spline code is organized for the most part. I think the camera code is organized for the most part. Things like rings, cannons. I know the goal ring was organized, so is the results screen. Warp rings, red rings, I think I organized that as well. A vast majority of the code is cleaned up. Not all of it, keep in mind, not all of the code is cleaned up, but a vast majority of it is. I'd say probably like, oh, stop that. I'd say like 50, maybe 60% of the actors are cleaned up. At least of the main actors that you're going to be using. But the jump ball is still blue even with the color change. I'm not sure about that.
Oh, wait, yeah, that worked. But the jump ball. So the jump ball material itself is still blue. Make sure when you change the color, the value is actually getting set to a positive number, because sometimes I have seen that it doesn't.
There's a function here, test jump ball actor handler. This is what it's. I believe this is what spawns it in and like.
Yep.
Does everything.
Yep, that is it.
Is it jump ball extras? Or
I think it should be the thing that handles the color itself is when it spawns in, like where you're looking, pretty much.
yeah.
The camera lag.
Actually, hold on.
Camera lag. Stream is behind a bit. Yeah, it gets the character self, and then it like gets the information inside of the actor.
Okay, so the color is actually set inside the actor, so
Yeah, set inside the jump ball.
jump actor. So yeah, it gets custom ball colors. Gets 0 and 1, and it sets the parameters color.
The colors.
Super related, or like character related Niagara particle. Jump ball glow.
Yeah, every number is positive.
Custom ball colors. Let's see here. All right, custom ball colors. Type in that into the details and try changing that. Because it looks like right here it says like it gets 0 and 1 in the custom color array. It selects from those.
I must have changed it then.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much has the performance improved? I would say from the colorful combat update, maybe like 2 or 3. I know we've improved small things here and there. Let's see here. Stat FPS, like it runs at about 50 FPS on my PC, but again, that's in engine. In engine, it's always going to run worse than like in a. The FPS just dies. It'll. Which debug? Are you going to the new debug room or the old one? The old one's not optimized at all. I don't know if the old one will even... It should work, but it... Yeah. I know we've done some optimization things, not a whole lot. Most of it is just with abilities and things like that. I think the boost code is more optimized. Light speed dash is more optimized. Being underwater and being on rails is more optimized slightly.
Nice.
How do you do the ice physics? I'm not sure, actually. I didn't do the ice physics.
We had somebody else do the ice physics
Yeah.
for us.
Someone else just... I think it was... Koenji?
Yep.
Rail momentum? Yeah, I know, rail momentum. What is this, Sonic Frontiers? If you press number pad 2 twice, it'll pull up the physics thing, which we've discussed before. This is this is a display on how physics are calculated. Your frame rate is going to die whenever it does this because it's pulling all this information up live as it's being ran. But you can see, like, as I like leave the patch of ice, my physics change, like my friction, my braking deceleration, my braking friction, my momentum changes also. So if you're ever wondering like how physics are being calculated in real time, you can always pull up this debug menu. It still says Infinity Plus version. On the top left, we gotta change that, Reese. It says Infinity Plus up there.
I went through like 20 widgets last night. I'm sorry I missed one.
That's the important
I
one.
even changed the level loading screen last night.
You did change the level
So-
loading screen.
It has the vanilla, it has the V plus logo.
Let's look at the menu real quick, actually. I'll save all and then just dump changes.
Yes, the main menu that I spent a long time on. I see a long time on. I spent an hour or two on.
If you thought the splash screen was bright,
Mm-hmm. We weren't given a lot of assets, okay? I used what we had. Even had to make some from scratch very quickly. General. I don't know why that changed to
that was very
journals.
weird.
Oh, show them the extra screen. There was a little extra thing that I added in a little while ago. Just something extra for people.
I'm pretty sure we showed this before.
Can't remember, but anyway, I can show it here. Added in the sound test because I thought it would be a neat little feature for people to have.
I like this remix.
It was good. As soon as they added like all of the team limits, I'm like, yes, this is perfect. Everybody can have their own invincibility theme now. Oh, what are you?
You can pick music better than Frontiers. This Dreams of Absolution remix is fucking great. Ah, perfect. Oh yeah, this is music right here. Oh hell yeah. Feel it, yeah.
Oh, it's great.
The synth is super tasteful. It is.
Essentially, with the sound test, it is a thing that people can edit. There's like a big list in the menu widget that you can edit, so you can just add in as many songs as you want.
I'm the coolest.
It says V plus in the top left there. On the
I also
loading
have
screen.
2 mouths. Because unlike Sonic, I didn't get the code that changes my muzzle.
Shush. I'll make a patch eventually.
One thing that is definitely different, I know I've mentioned this before, but regardless of the frame rate, all of the characters should move at proper speed now. Because someone had gifted us the C++ code to separate. It was the friction that was the problem. Like there's something about the friction that was being applied multiple times at low frame rate. And it's a setting you can't change with Blueprint. You have to change it with C++. So the friction is now completely different, by the way. That's just another thing that's different. It's the friction. So yeah. All right, well, I'm hungry. I have not eaten yet today. I've been up for like 4 hours, and I've yet to eat. Shadow animations are so smooth. They are very smooth. I like how Shadow's animated.
Shadow.
Dab, 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 dab.
You know he had a dab on them haters.
All right, let's see. What was going on with... Okay, Luna, this is a problem. We've actually had this problem before. This is a graphics driver problem. Try making sure your GPU drivers are up to date. We've actually seen this issue before, Luna. This is a problem with the GPU. I'm not entirely sure how to fix that specifically. I think it was JNinja actually gave us this issue as well. You remember that issue, right? That JNinja was having?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I believe
it's a GPU problem. We can ping JNinja. I think he managed to fix it. I don't remember, but this is a problem with the GPU, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, so we're gonna call it here. I'm hungry. I need to eat. We've been going for about 2.5 hours. So, everyone, have fun with Velocity Plus, and good luck. Goodbye. No, I'm kidding. Velocity Plus is officially released. That's it. No more.
Fizz did it.
Yeah, it's over. Not as triumph as I wanted the ending to be, but you know what? I don't care at this point. I'm tired. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to do other things. So, yep, you can access the demo. Once again, you can access the demo in the Velocity Plus server. I will continue to have a link to the Velocity Plus server on my Twitch channel for a little while longer. Up until someone else takes over, then they can have it on their server. Or their whatever. They can do whatever they want. You can also access the demo in that server, as well as the Game Jolt link. You can access the demo in the Game Jolt. So, yeah, I think that's it. Do you have anything else you want to add, Reese?
No, it's just weird to think it's over now.
Yep,
But
no
yeah.
more.
That's it. I guess we'll see everybody around. See you later.
Yep, you all have a great rest of your day, and have fun. I can't wait to see what people make with it, honestly. I'm ready to see if people like do some cool stuff. Oh, the game jam. We will probably be doing a game jam, but it probably won't be until summer. I want to give people time to get used to the framework, learn how it works, and stuff like that. Also, again, I'm going to be busy over the next month or so I'm not going to be able to host it.
If there's any patches that need to be quickly done before then too.
Yeah, if there's any major issues or major patches, then if it turns out that there's something that we can do to fix that major graphical issue that Luna is having, if someone can find the solution to that, I'm sure we can release a patch for that. But other than that, yep, it's over. That's it. That's it. I quit.
Oh, yep. That's it.
Yeah, this is the last Velocity Plus stream. No more after this one. So, yeah, you all have a great rest of your day. Have fun.